What a general election. That was probably one of the most historic general elections that we'll ever have, and maybe the last UK general election with Scotland as part of the United Kingdom. So I've absolutely no idea how the Tories got into power and winning over 150 seats more than Labour. I simply don't understand what makes someone vote for Tories. Have they not shown consistently that they are purely incapable of running the country? Running the United Kingdom into the dirt. So before the general election, Scotland already had a triple lock mandate to have an independence referendum. The SNP won a majority in 2015, with obviously independence as part of their manifesto. The SNP still got a majority, albeit less seats, in 2017. The SNP have just won 48 seats, with independence on their mandate. The Scottish Parliament has also voted in favour of another independence referendum. The Scottish Parliament is in the process of creating a referendum bill to allow Scotland the power to have a referendum. I've seen the point being thrown back and forward by unionists saying that the SNP actually were defeated in the general election because the number of people that voted for pro-union parties surpassed the number of people that voted for the SNP. However, it's very important to remember, across the UK, 15.5 million people didn't even vote. So that argument is a fallacy completely. So during the last election campaign, the Tories in Scotland, they literally just did their campaign on one sentence, which was to stop IndyRef. A vote for Conservatives was a vote against another independence referendum. But now that SNP has won a massive majority with 80% of the vote, suddenly the Tories are now saying that, but that doesn't mean that you can have an independence referendum. That isn't what we meant. We just meant vote for us to stop another independence referendum. We didn't mean that if the SNP come win a majority that they'll get an independence referendum, despite that being in their mandate. Despite Scotland consistently voting different from the rest of the UK with regards to Brexit, with regards to the war in Syria, with regards to Trident.
We are the Tory party, and despite this being a union of equals, we say that you are not allowed to have another independence referendum.
So, to me, the SNP victory in the general election is a sure sign that the Scottish people are willing to have another independence referendum to vote for an independent Scotland in the EU. And there's plenty of people in Scotland that don't like the SNP but would support independence. There's plenty of Labour voters that support independence. There's actually a group that goes to rallies called Labour Voters for Independence, and they've just said that they're getting a lot more people wanting to join them. High profile figures in the Labour Party are demanding that Labour in Scotland change their opinion on IndyRef, change their stance on IndyRef too. Because it goes without question, it's completely obvious these days that yes, independence is the best option for Scotland. Do you want another Tory government for 5 years? How much have they f***ed up this country? The United Kingdom is a union of 4 countries. A supposedly equal union of 4 countries. So why is it that Scotland needs permission to have another independence referendum? Why does Scotland need permission to ask its people if they would rather Scotland's future was part of... It's perfectly acceptable to revisit the question of independence because so much has changed since 2014. Now, absolutely, there's been thousands of activists that haven't stopped since 2014. I'm one of them. And like I said before, if you are someone that supports independence, if you were someone that voted yes, if you're someone that voted no, but now you think that you support independence, for whatever one of the 100 reasons there is to vote for independence, put a yes badge on, make it visible to the public. People need to know that the issue of independence is not going to go away. Regardless of whether Boris Johnson tells us if we can have a referendum or not, it is a democratic right of the Scottish people to have another referendum. And I don't think a handful of Tories that were elected in Scotland can really do anything whatsoever to stop us having another independence referendum. So many people that voted no in 2014 regret their decision. And rightfully so. Because it was a completely absurd campaign by Better Together, filled with lies. So Boris Johnson, We're going to have an independence referendum and we're going to win it. Do you know why we're going to win it? Because people of Scotland are not idiots. People of Scotland will not be lied to. So already there's been a surge of support for the independence campaign. There's going to be a march in Glasgow on the 11th of January. There's also going to be an event up in Inverness on the 11th of January as well for those in Highland that can't make it. Now is the time to start speaking to people about independence. Now is the time to start speaking to your family. Bring up the conversation. Wear your yes badges. Look up, use the resources. Business for Scotland is an absolutely fantastic resource. They've spent years putting together all the economic questions that would be proposed in the event of another independence referendum. The information is out there. Start now if you haven't already, because this is the future of our country. This isn't just, what's Scotland going to do for the next 5 years? This is Scotland's entire future, and it could be completely devastating if we stay in the UK.